Hey everybody, I hope you have had a great week, are ready for the weekend, and I hope you can join me today for a few minutes of some yoga that's going to get our heart rates up a little bit. We're going to work into some twists and kind of work through that digestive system in an effort to just kind of prepare yourself. I like going into a weekend with sort of like a detoxed body because that's when I tend to have a cheat meal or eat something that I wouldn't normally eat during the week, so just preparing your digestion for that. So that's the idea for today. All you need is your mat or a space that you can kind of spread out and get into some lunges for, and then maybe a little extra space to do some twisting. If balance is a real challenge for you, then you may want to have a wall or a chair nearby just to help you in case while we're in a lunge you might need to support yourself on something. So let's get started. We're actually going to start down on all fours. So get down here with me, starting with movement and with breath. So as we're in our all fours position, you want knees right below hips, hands right below shoulders, and we have the fingertips spread out. We're gonna kind of lock those elbows out, so turn the creases of your elbows outward or forward or maybe facing one another. And then we're going to keep the tops of the feet down into the mat so that you can kind of feel your support system, which is the floor right now. Let's keep our spine nice and long. So think about extending the crown of your head out toward the wall in front of you and your tailbone going out toward the wall behind you. And it might cause you to kind of tuck the belly in just a little bit here in order to keep some firmness through the core. And that is a perfect all fours position. So one other thing to note, if you look back, don't bring the toes together. Let's keep them hidden behind the thighs so we can't actually see our feet back there. We're in like this perfect little square. And so as we're here, you're taking in as big of a breath as you can get. And I love activating the core and breathing at the same time. It just creates sort of a heat within you. So if you ever find yourself sitting at a desk or maybe you're in a cold environment, you can kind of squeeze the belly in tight, get those pelvic floor muscles activated and all the abdominal muscles, and then start taking a big deep breath, hold it in, hold your belly in. And then as you exhale, you just keep squeezing. So you're inhaling and exhaling while you hold your belly in. It's definitely a practice, not super easy to do, but as hopefully you've been practicing it now as I've been talking. We're actually going to change that breath to a flow style breath, so more of a pranayama breathing, where we use movement with our breath. So let's just, first of all, take a big deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the nose. On our next breath in, we're going to let the belly sag and the chin come up. Inhale here through the nose. On your exhale, we're going to slowly move into, as you exhale, cat pose, arching through the spine. Tuck the tailbone, and then inhale, arch through the back. Exhale, squeeze through the belly. Alternating kind of those opposing muscle groups. I love doing that sometimes just to see what it feels like. Back muscles working, and then belly muscles working. Any number of things you could possibly focus on here, so whether that be breath, whether it be squeezing, whether it just be moving and trying to keep that sort of coordination down. Focus on the thing that's the hardest thing for you. So if the coordination part is the hardest, that's where I want your mindset to go. One more time through our cat and cow poses. And then we're going right away into our downward dog. So if you would rather meet me in child's pose for a moment, that's fine. If you're ready to sort of get moving and you know that you can pop right up into that downward dog, we're not going to stretch here for long. We're just holding it so that we can take a leg, right leg, let's take right leg. Lift it up into the air, step forward. Once you get that foot in place there, we're going to push off with the back leg coming into a forward fold, and then right away, lifting halfway. Inhale, exhale, collapse. Moving into our sun salutations to get warm. Reverse swan dive. Inhale. Bring it through heart center one time. Inhale, sweep up. Swan dive, fold. Let's do that once more. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, collapse. Reverse swan dive, out and up. Through heart center, now we're just gonna take the hands all the way around. So you're gonna sweep them back, around, up by the ears, and we're gonna sit low for chair pose. Belly in tight, building warmth here. Kind of wiggle those toes, sit back on the heels. Quick breath in. Exhale quick. One more, inhale. Exhale. To the floor, we're stepping back to plank. You can do modification here. I'll show the modified version first. You're going to lower to the ground. Squeeze and lift, baby cobra. Lower back down, and you're either going to child's pose or you're going to downward dog. From down dog, we're taking the left leg, step it all the way through. Once you get that placed, right leg comes up to meet it. Let's bring toes together this time. Heels slightly apart, rounding into our forward fold. We're gonna hang here for a moment, check the breath. Loosen the neck, round through the shoulders, keep the tailbone high and the crown of the head low. All right, let's halfway lift. Here we go, flowing a little bit. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, collapse. Reverse your swan dive. Take it out and up through heart center. Sweep it up again, going into our chair pose. Chair. Hold, 2 breaths. Take it down to the floor, step back for plank. Lowering down, chaturanga. The full version you can modify if you like, or going into our upward dog. And then flipping over to downward dog. All right, this time we're just gonna walk up, so no lunging. Just walk up, hands to meet, or feet to meet the hands. Toes together, heels slightly apart, rounding into our forward fold. Check your breath. Feels good. Nice long spine here. Inhale, halfway lift. Maybe you can feel some flexibility in the hamstrings. Exhale, collapse. Inhale, sweep it up all the way. Bring it through heart center. I'm going to face you for this next part. So for our next series of chairs, we're going to also add some twisting. So we're going to hold this chair a little longer. Prepare yourself mentally and physically. It might get a little uncomfortable. I want you to work through that quick Ujjayi breath as we work through this chair hold with a twist. So sweep the arms up by the ears just like we normally would. Your toes are together. As you sit back for chair pose, your knees come together. Now we're going to take the hands to heart center. We're seated low. And let's twist over our right shoulder. So we're going to look over there, take the elbow to the outside of the knee, and use that as kind of leverage to pull your chest around. You're trying to get your hands to the middle of your chest. Then look back. I can see my left knee is in front of my right, which means my hips have shifted. So I'm going to shift my hips back to center and try to twist from my rib cage. So holding here, take a big deep breath. Back to center, bring it up. Woo, open the arms out to the side. I feel warm. And then let's bring it right back up. Exhale through heart center, reset. Get ready for one more. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, back for our chair pose. Bringing hands to heart center. Keep the thumbs at heart center, twist the chest. Try to find that leverage. You're twisting around. Once you get situated, look back, knees adjusted so that they're in line. Hold. Breath. Back to center, and we take it all the way up and out. Nice work, you guys. All right, I'm going to turn back to the side, and I want you, if you're not facing sideways on your mat, to face sideways so that you have the top of the mat and the bottom of the mat. And we're going to come to the top of the mat. So I'm going to go as far up as I can so I don't get out of the picture here. But once you come up to the top of the mat, we're going to bring toes together and stand in our mountain pose, which is palms facing forward, shoulders back and down. And through all of that warm-up that we just did, if you noticed anything that seemed to be tight or tense or maybe even out of whack, that's kind of what you're focusing on here as you stand in your mountain pose. So let's breathe through those areas. Just check in with those areas. So if it's shoulders, we take the shoulders back and down. If it was our hips, then we just loosen the hips, no tightness here, just a slight bend through your knees. Let the fingertips fall toward the ground like you're just reaching for the floor. Let your spine stay tall, like you're stacking your vertebrae, but not trying to have this perfect posture. It's just natural. Let it just naturally curve. All right, like I said, some twisting today, so we're going to actually start with that. Reach the arms up, big breath in, and then you're just going to twist kind of like waving palm branches. Twist to one side, inhale, reach it back up. Wave your palm branches to the other side. So you're just kind of making this like side to side swooping motion. Add that drop backwards with the shoulder. Inhale, reach up, drop backwards with the shoulder. Nice. One more time on each side, dropping a little bit further. And if you'd like to wrap your arms all the way around just to get a little more twist, you can. Very good. All right, sweep the arms up. This time you're going to grab a wrist. It doesn't matter which one. We're going to do this on both sides. Grab that wrist and push up toward the ceiling like you're trying to pull one arm up toward the ceiling. And then as you do that, just a slight lean in that opposite direction. So I don't want you crumpling down and like all of this side body just starts to stack on top of each other. Think lift and over. Nice. And then we're going to come back to center, grab that other wrist. It reminds me of like a bow on a bow and arrow and how it's strung together. One arm is the string and one arm is the bow, and you're just causing that bow to bend slightly. Nice tall chest. One more breath. All right, hands back down. Preparing yourself. Hopefully you're still facing in one direction toward the front of your mat. If you're not, let's get there. We're going to plant the right foot kind of right in the center of our mat. We're going to take that left foot and step back with it. So as we step back in a warrior position, we would have that 90-degree angle. For this position, we're actually going to come up on the toes. So we're more in a lunge in a warrior one position. So warrior two, we're going to have in our warrior one position, we'll have our arms up overhead. Warrior two is splayed out to the side. Okay. So warrior one, we're here. Nice and tall through the spine, just like we were when we were doing the side bending. And all we're going to do here is kind of work to get a little bit deeper. So as you feel some flexibility or range of motion, you're just going to tiptoe those front toes out, keeping the hips and the shoulders facing forward. And we really want to keep this back knee straight. So this might be where you need a wall or a support. Take those arms up overhead, reach nice and tall. Take a breath in, and then we're going to twist to one side. So everything below the waist, hips and down, stays in that same position. And then we're coming back up to warrior one, twist to the other side into warrior two, except our foot doesn't move, okay? Warrior one, inhale. Warrior two, arms, exhale. Good. Let's do it again. Warrior one, inhale. Warrior two. Big twist through the shoulders. One more time on each side here. Very nice. And here. We twist. Nice. Can you get a little bit deeper into that warrior one? We're trying to get a little wider with the legs if you can. Get low. Nice and low. And we're holding here. Push through that front heel. Push through the back heel too. So we're kind of splaying those legs apart. Hips are forward. Arms are up, and we're going to drop those arms and interlace back behind you so you have this nice open chest. Try to keep a fist closed. We're going into humble warrior from here. So all you do here, definitely a balance challenge. I'll give you some modifications. If you want to put your knee on the ground for balance, you can. Otherwise, you're just going forward. Either way, you're going forward. And let those arms kind of come up off of your back, okay? If you're in this deep lunge here, You're gonna really challenge your balance. Keep looking at the ground. Let the arms come up and the chest go low. Stay low with the hips. Hold it. Take a big deep breath. Exhale, hands to the mat. Very nice. Now from here, we're gonna walk that back foot in just a little bit. So maybe, a foot in from where it was. And we're gonna turn the toes out, not keep them. Turn the toes out and bring the chest all the way up again. So now we're back into that warrior two position. Now you can keep your short stance. You can widen your stance, whatever's comfortable for you. But we're reaching those arms out. See what you feel. I feel my thigh on fire back here. I feel my hips kind of getting tight, so I want to loosen those up just with my breath and thought. So thinking through that, take the shoulders down, away from your ears. Take a big deep breath. And we're going to work into a triangle posture. So from here, all we do is straighten that front leg, and we tip downward. So this front hand, you're turning knuckles toward the wall and toward the inner thigh. And that's all you do is take those knuckles to the inner thigh, and then your left arm is going to come up into the air. Now you can challenge your balance here by looking up. You can look straight out, or you can look down. And then as you get a little more flexibility here in this hamstring and inner thigh, you can shoot that hip out, your back hip out, and let your knuckles trail down your leg. Now if you have a wider stance, you're going to feel more stretch, okay? Well, you're going to feel more stretch in different places. You're going to feel a stretch with a short stance or a wide stance. But we're going to keep the chest open. That's the key here. Hip is out, chest is open. We're making a triangle with the ground. So hold here, breathe through it, try to relax as much as you can. Use your entire foot to hold you up. And then we're going to reverse this triangle. So we'll take our hands together here. If you need to touch the floor, you can. And then we're twisting up and open to the other side, trying to keep the shoulders stacked. Big breath here. Then hands back to either side of your leg in front, and we're going to bend that knee, come up on the toe in the back, and sink low for our lunge. Put some weight in the hands. Let's lift and sweep to our downward dog. Hanging out in downward dog, or you can be in child's pose here, resting for a moment. All right, we're going to take the left leg into the air, step it all the way through into that low lunge that we had before. We're going to keep that low lunge for just a split second here. Now, you have the option on this side of going high or low as far as your stance goes, but I would encourage you to keep it about the same as the other side, even if you are more or less flexible. So I'm going to walk my foot in just a bit and then bring my chest up. This is kind of requiring a little bit of balance just to push off like that, which is fine. But we're going to get into that lunge of a warrior one stance. So warrior one arms, you're up on the toe in the back. We're keeping that leg nice and long in the back while planting through the front leg up here. So arms go up, chest and shoulders are forward. We're going to take a big deep breath and twist as you exhale. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist. Now, as you guys keep doing that, I'm going to show you something really quick. So for my stance, I don't have one leg right behind the other or one in front of the other. This is a wider stance here. So when I come out to the side, it widens my base and makes that twisting a little more possible because I'm not having to balance as much. So if you want to challenge your balance, you're welcome to take those legs one in front of the other. It's definitely going to be more of a challenge as you change your vantage point. You're going to have to really dig in with the feet. So just keep that in mind. All right, so one more time through our twists. Keep that nice, long, strong back leg. We're coming back up to center here. And now remember how we kind of got low into our warrior one posture here? Feel free to do that again. Go about as low as you did on the last one for our humble warrior. So hands clasped behind. You can put the knee down if you like. Open the chest. Take a breath. Exhale and bow forward. Great, hands to the mat. From here, we're turning that back foot out to the side. Coming into our warrior two, so we can windmill the arms, get into that lunge, pushing them out apart, reaching equally to the front and the back, feeling that quad up here. We want to look down and make sure the knee isn't twisting forward. We want that knee, when we're in this warrior posture, not to dive inward, but to go outward, and the hips to stay nice and open. So just check yourself there. Bring the shoulders down, no squeezing and tension here. Very nice. And then we're working into that triangle posture again. So preparing, we take the front hand, turn the knuckles in and take it to the thigh. Back hand just stays right where it is. As we tip down, it comes up. When you feel like you've gotten kind of a comfortable position there, shoot that back hip out just a little. Keep the shoulders open and the chest open to the side. Start to kind of slide down. Definitely not collapsing through the core again. We're going to keep some tightness here. So as you keep that core tight, it can help hold you up. You don't have to touch the floor. Get a little core workout here. Very nice. Go as far as you feel comfortable going. Nice deep stretch. Big breath in, and we're going to revolve this triangle. So we'll take the hands together. And then this foot, you might notice, wants to turn inward. Let's keep it out to the side if you can. I like to take fingertips to the ground just for balance, so I'm not totally falling over. But you might touch your foot here if you want to, or you may not be that far up. So that's okay too, just wherever you are. Stacking those shoulders, take a big deep breath. Great. Hands on either side of the foot. We're coming back to that lunge position. Hold here for a second. Then lift back to our downward dog. Hold, take a breath. Very nice. All right, you guys, we're coming all the way onto our backs from here. So you can crisscross the ankles, roll those feet under you, coming all the way down to your back. We've got one more little twist here that we're going to perform. So let's hug the knees up into the chest. Give them a nice tight squeeze. Round through the tailbone, maybe even rocking side to side. Sometimes that feels good on your lower back. All right, keeping the knees and the feet together, we're taking the arms out to a T or a V position. We're keeping the knees close. Take a big deep breath in. And on your exhale, we're just gonna roll onto a hip. I'm gonna go right side first. Roll onto that hip. Let your feet touch the floor first. Trying to keep the knees stacked, so that means your hips are stacked too. And we're trying to keep the shoulder on the ground. So if the shoulder is not on the ground, you're gonna be more like this until you can get the shoulders to stay there. And then you slowly let the knees fall, just letting the feet be there first. So as you exhale, we're letting those knees fall. If you're already on the ground and everything's nice and flat there and you feel pretty relaxed, feel free to look out over the opposite arm. So you're turning your neck away from your knees, or turning your head away from your knees rather. Sink into this posture. Get as deep into it as you can. Nice long breath in. Long, slow exhale. We'll take one more breath in together here. And we're going to use our stomach, belly, core muscles to bring our knees back to center. So go ahead and squeeze those as you're here in this posture. And then kind of pressing through the backs of the hands and the shoulders. Squeeze as you come back to center. Just protects your lower back. So adjust if you come off of center or what feels awkward here. We'll adjust back. Hug the knees in just to give yourself a reminder of how close in we want to keep those legs. Arms back out. Take a breath in. On your exhale, prepare to fall to the other side. So we're going to go over. Take the feet to the ground first as soon as you can. Check that shoulder. Make sure it's staying on the ground. Adjust if you need to, and then let the knees start to fall slowly. Look out over the opposite shoulder if you want to, looking away from the knees. Notice any tightness that you feel here. Sometimes you might hear like some squeaking or like bubbles going on. And sometimes all that is just your digestive juices flowing. So If you ever have digestion issues or maybe you can't get things moving, twists are a great way to activate. So try it. And in fact, you may have to go to the bathroom after this, which is never a bad thing. So consider that a good thing. And if it works for you, then give it a shot. One more big deep breath together. On your exhale, squeeze the belly muscles, press through the hands, bring the knees back to center. Very nice. We're going to take the feet to the floor, stretch them totally straight out. And we're going to take the hands down by the sides with the palms down on the ground. Now we're going to reach up toward the ceiling, so kind of like a zombie feeling here. Fingertips spread wide. Let's go all the way up overhead. Try to keep the thumbs together and try not to arch the back. So you're kind of pressing down through the low back. Nice long stretch from fingertips to toes. And then we'll bring those arms straight up, over your face, and down to the floor. All right, from here we're coming into kind of an X position. So take the legs, it doesn't have to be like a straddle, but just wide apart, maybe on the outsides of your mat if you have a mat. Arms out kind of in the same direction. I just want you to feel like you're being pulled in all those directions. So reach out with the arms, then reach out with the legs. And you're just widening yourself as big as you can get on your floor. Take up as much space as you possibly can. All right, we're going to do a little bit of snow angels here. So the legs are actually going to stay put, so get a comfortable spot for the legs. But I want you to take your hands, knuckles down on the ground, and we're going to slide our arms up and try to keep the knuckles on the ground the whole time. Just slide up, 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 overhead, still trying to keep the knuckles on the ground if you can. Reaching up overhead. Try not to arch that back too much. There may be a natural arch that develops. A natural one's okay, but we're not reaching and arching on purpose. And then we're going to do the same thing. Just tap the thumbs together. This is kind of like a snow angel or maybe a jumping jack. And we're taking the hands all the way back down to our sides. So you might have noticed some impingements or something that kept you from keeping your knuckles on the ground, like you had to lift your arm at one point just to get past something that was tight. So we're going to do this a couple more times. I want you to breathe through it. So take a big breath in as you go up. Exhale as you come down. Let's do it again. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, coming back down. And this time we're going to find a comfortable, relaxed position. So whatever is comfortable for you. Maybe it's bringing bottoms of the feet together for goddess pose, hands resting on the hips. Maybe it's corpse pose where you're just legs out and arms out. Whatever that position is, I want you to assume that position. Take a deep breath and just melt into the ground. We're going to get nice and heavy here for a few deep breaths. So anything that's gone on outside of these walls that you're in now, outside of the room that you're in, the space that you're in, I want you to release all the thoughts that might be pulling you in those directions. So we're going to gently bring the thoughts back to your body, how you feel in this moment right now. And be completely honest with yourself. If you're not feeling great, be willing to admit that. If you're feeling wonderful in spite of maybe circumstances where you shouldn't be, then be willing to admit that as well. And then without trying to be anything at all, just want you to be completely comfortable in your own body, in your own skin. Just exist where you are without a gender. You're not male, you're not female, you have no titles, no job titles. no status. You're not a brother, a sister, a mom, or a dad. You just are who you are. You just exist. And what I love the most about that thought is that we all just exist together. We're all here together. If you're watching this, you are a human being that exists on the same planet that I exist on and that anybody else watching this exists on. We are all grounded here, and we are all one in flesh and spirit. We're made up of the same kinds of things. We're all human. So focus on that breath really quickly. We're going to go through about 3 rounds of deep prana breath. Take an inhale, fill up the lungs, and just imagine those lungs expanding in all different directions. As you exhale, let the jaw open, the lips stay closed, the tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth. Inhaling again, big deep breath. Slowing down that exhale, keep it super slow. Just a little bit of air at a time. After that last exhale, let's wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, windshield wiper those ankles a little bit. Bend the elbows, straighten. Let's bring one knee and then the other knee, feet to the mat. And then choose your favorite side and we'll roll onto that side. Hang out here for a moment. When you're ready, slowly pushing yourself up to a seated position. Hands out onto the knees. We'll sit nice and tall here. Kind of taking one final checklist through the body, seeing if there's anything else you can just rid yourself of. Stress-free, light and freeing. Take a breath in. We're going to breathe all the peace and tranquility we can into our bodies. Exhale any fears, any anxiety, any to-dos, anything that makes us anxious. We let go of all of that. We can tackle the things of our day and of our weekend with complete peace, with no fear, knowing that it's going to get done. And the only thing we can control is our own emotion. So I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Let's breathe in together, big deep breath in. Hands to heart center. Namaste.